Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Florida Tech esports stream. My name is Andrew. I'm an astrophysics student here at Florida Tech in my senior year. And today I'm joined by...
Hey, my name is Juan, and also an astrophysics student in my last year of Florida Tech. Um, it's been a long time since we had a Valorant game here at Florida Tech, and we're fighting against Georgia Tech Blue again. Um, this time we're starting in Icebox. We see a pretty basic composition. We see that's the Viper in the hands of Satanic Monk. We see again Killjoy, a Jet. We're seeing a Sage right now, and we're waiting for Initiator.
Yeah, pretty straightforward so far from what we're seeing. And like you said, long time since we've seen a game. And this one's really exciting because it's the first playoff here in the NECC competition. So looking forward to seeing what happens. And like you said, we're seeing a Viper off the bat on Icebox. Always love to see it. The wall here is just so strong. And the only slight modification in terms of smokes is usually you might see like a Harbor, but that's only at very high levels just because of how difficult Harbor is to play. We're also seeing Sage on Floor Tech side, which is a really strong Sentinel, being able to wall off areas and get a nice little plant in.
Yeah, no, and we're seeing two different compositions, almost mirrored. In the side of Georgia Tech, we see this double initiator versus on the side of Tech, we see this double sentinel. Um, this would mean that technically Georgia Tech would like to play more for attack, would like to get as much information as possible. You have the knife from KO, you have the arrow from Soba. Those are like a lot of good abilities to gather up information. On the other side, Florida Tech wants to slow as much the push as possible. They have all the utility from Killjoy, they have all the utility from Sage, plus, as you said, that Viper. Viper's really good in this map. Like, all those walls can do wonders, and I think Georgia Tech knows how to play it. So let's hope and wait and see. Last time we had this encounter, um, Florida Tech got a pretty hectic win.
Yeah, we saw a lot of promising stuff though last time from Georgia Tech as well, so I'm very excited to see what they decide to do here. And it looks like Florida Tech's attacking here, and they're going to go for a lot of aggression off the rip towards A. Chocolate here, and with Unknowns, are off to a good start. Unknown getting a first pick, but they have to be careful for that Sova drone. Looks like they're going to back off here, try to wait for their team to rotate, and Florida Tech is still making a lot of noise. A couple of sprays, trying to just feel it out, decide if they want to commit to the site or not. And this wall, like you mentioned, these walls just slow you down so much on this map. Looks like here the wall is dropping and a Sova drone's coming in on Georgia Tech side. Trying to get some more information. Does get shut down here, but no one's moving a muscle. They're all waiting to see who plays it out first. Still a lot of time on the clock, 53 seconds still, so a lot to do. That dart's going to be pretty big. Just getting a lot of Florida Tech players. And they're still trying to decide. Looks like they're going towards a rotate. But there's... Enrique's going to go crazy and get the two players mid. And now Florida Tech can just waltz onto B. Those picks were massive right there.
30 seconds left.
Now down to a 3v4. In favor of Florida Tech. Reskop holding down mid while the rest of the team is going for that plant. Enrique, a very nice position here on top. The nest area does get a kill onto B. Now down to 2v4. I do hear a lot of footsteps. So Enrique is definitely onto the last two players' position here. Darts are come in. Enrique does get spotted.
One enemy remaining.
Juzi with a nice classic shot. Chocolate getting a double kill. Still in a 1v2, which could make something happen.
Last player standing.
But the trade comes in, and Florida Tech walks away with the first round.
As you see, Georgia Tech gets that first pick. We see then the Killjoy from the side of Georgia Tech, Youngfish, trying to push, gain some intel on mid. But he holds too much time, I think. And then when they try to push together, we see Enrique coming with that double kill in mid, gaining all the information, all the advantages, and Georgia Tech loses a controller and they lose the sentinel. Then holding side is really, really hard. You don't have your killjoy, you don't have your killjoy, and you don't have your smokes from Viper. It's kind of doomed.
I gotta agree, those 2 picks mid were huge, and looks like Florida Tech are gonna go for another attack onto the A site, but Georgia Tech is stacked on this site, so they're gonna be very careful of who they come up with here. Enrique on top of 410 with a Vandal. Could get some work done. Nice little reaction flick there, but doesn't get the kill. Some spamming it going in here. Juzi with the first kill. Mafu does get a kill with the classic though, and Satanic also clearing out Mafu. Get a nice little trade down to a 3v4 in favor of Florida Tech, and they do get the plant down here. Enrique with a nice kill onto the screens on B. And now it looks like they're just slow things down into a little post plant situation. They do hear the turret here by Young Fish. Managed to take it out, and that's just going to slow it down even further. Oh, I would love to see Enrique get a little spicy here with the wall, but decides not to. And Juzi closes it out with a double kill with the Bulldog.
Triple kill at the end. Really well executed from Florida Tech. They knew how to get that gun advantage. We saw Enrique rushing to side, being that duelist that everybody wants, just, you know, gaining as much space as possible. And in this case, we see the wall from Viper from the side of Florida Tech that we didn't see last round. They fully commit into A side. They throw that wall. They cut as much intel as they can from the Soba that was up there. And then when they push together, they manage to get this explosion push and just basically get as much space as possible. And the Sage wall like basically gets them the win by locking like the line of sight into bomb.
Gotta agree. Love to see that execution, and Florida Tech's gonna try their luck here again on the A site, but on the minimap you can see a lot of players sneaking up to the back. Young Fish and Mafu getting kills, Unknown's getting a double, and now it's up to Sloshy alone with just getting slowly boxed in here. Does have the spike, could try to make something happen, but gets spotted by the recon bolt. Now he's alone here, trying to figure out which side to go. Gotta maybe try to get a pick. Very nice flash there by B, gets scanned. Sloshy gets a kill, but runs out of bullets, and B closes it out. Wow, that was quite a pincer movement there by Georgia Tech.
That was quite a pincer movement. Sloshy had like nowhere to go basically. At that point, it was between him and a wall basically. Really good. Sloshy manages to get as much weapons as possible from the side of Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech should be comfortable with this though, because they managed to get like 3 people out with like no problem. So this is the first round that we're gonna see both rifles, both utility, and like we're gonna see like the full skirmish. So we see that again. Florida Tech going into A side.
Yeah, like you said, first full buy round here, and Florida Tech still deciding that A is the place for them. Sloshy are gonna get a little spicy on top of the pipes here. See if you can catch any of the players. A little shots going back and forth here. Satanic gets first round. Sloshy does manage to get that kill onto Unknowns. Have to be very careful here. They don't have site secure yet. This wall is such a nuisance. Looks like they're gonna wait for the dart. It does come in, and does manage to scan Chocolate. Chocolate does get a kill, but Enrique with the trade. And now down to 2v4. Favor for Florida Tech. Plant goes down, and Juzi with the beautiful flank here is gonna get huge amount of damage. Sloshy gets the kill before he can react though, and the team closes it out.
Amazing run from Florida Tech. They managed only to lose one, and Georgia Tech loses basically everyone. Really well executed. They managed to get as much information as possible. They used that Soba arrow to basically push the Soba away from like that spot. And then again, Enrique getting those entry frags, like getting like as much info as possible, and the amazing flank from Juzi, getting 1 kill and basically doing the pincer maneuver. You know. Really well done for the side of Florida Tech, to be honest.
Yeah, I love the flank through mid on this map, and Juzi probably kicked himself, wishing got a couple more, but played well with the team, and team closed it out. Got to put trust in the team here. And looks like Florida Tech, again, making a lot of noise A, but the spike is headed towards B. Made a lot of noise still, and now Georgia Tech is mainly stacked towards A, but that dart is going to be massive. Chocolate's dart there is going to manage to scan the fact that Florida Tech is just not there. Florida Tech decides they're a full push towards B, but they have to be very careful here. B is close, but Satanic reacts just in time, managing to get B before he can cause any sort of damage, and the spike does go down here. 4v5, favor Florida Tech. Enrique in a nice position here on top of yellow. They do manage to spot Mafu in the back, but don't manage to get a kill though. A lot of util being burned. Juzi with another kill. And kills coming left, right, and center here. As the players are just trading each other off, trying to make position. Reskop with another, and Sloshy closes it out. Really good round here by Florida Tech with their full buy against this eco.
Really good run. We see Florida Tech taking advantage of these different in range. They're having like ARs against Georgia Tech, just basically having pistol classics. We saw like I think 1 or 2 sheriffs, nothing much. But I think Florida Tech plays a really good bait and switch. When they push A, we saw Enrique saying as much time as in A as possible, because Georgia Tech knows Florida Tech prefers A. So if they get that small difference, they can basically gain a free push.
Yeah, like you said, A is the site that Florida Tech loves pushing, and they were able to fake it, and now it looks like they might commit towards it. Enrique knifing out and manages to catch Unknown's off guard. That's gotta hurt since he had an off.
Spike down
Enrique
A.
with a second kill
One
here.
enemy remaining.
Mafu did get 2, but Juzi getting 2 more in response, so now down to 1v3. It's like Florida Tech gets that post plan. Juzi still with the same flank. Enrique knows the position. B with a nice reactionary flick onto Juzi, but Enrique gets the trade.
Really fast round from the side of Florida Tech. We saw Juzi again getting that flank through mid, but at the end of the day, Georgia Tech manages, KO manages to detect the flank and get the flick, but at the end of the day, Enrique gets the kill and gets the round. Florida Tech is playing really well, getting all those peaks, covering all the angles, all the sides, and then basically dominating half of the map.
A lot of good team player, and looks like Florida Tech's going to do one of my favorite plays here on Icebox. They're pushing right down mid, popping a little Viper Orb, and Enrique on top of the tube. Nice position, but a huge gamble here by Georgia Tech. They did put a lot of players mid, and Mafu does get the first pick here. Little pick with the sheriff, and now they decide to fall back a little after they've gotten that first pick, and all the Florida Tech players are backing off. Looks like they're deciding to probably push towards A, but Spike is not committed here. Juzi in a nice little spot, but looks like he does disconnect. Enrique does get a kill though. Looks like Florida Tech are gonna commit to this B site.
Scanning ahead.
They are technically down to a 4v3 here. The knife is going to manage to scan Reskop and a couple others, I believe. So Georgia Tech knows that Florida Tech is here. So Spike is going to have to go down at some point, but it looks like they're just going to take their time.
A fine
Nice
hit.
kill there by Reskop onto Chocolate. And now the site is being taken full force by the Florida Tech players. Enrique does spot a couple and almost dies to that molly, but doesn't manage to get killed there. Reskop with another kill. Putting a lot of work here for Florida Tech. Unknowns with the trade though. But the Florida Tech players are so low here. Such little health to play with. Now they just got to rely on time.
One enemy remaining.
Beautiful kill by Enrique, playing around this cloud burst so perfectly. Unknowns onto the trade though. Now down to Satanic Monk. Does have time to play with. Gotta make sure he doesn't fall for the fake, but he does, and Unknowns
What is Juzi
doesn't
doing?
have time.
What is Juzi doing?
Juzi's AFK.
Oh, just AFK?
You didn't see that?
I didn't see that. I thought he was waiting.
He was waiting. That would have been the
That would
most
have been the most.
most big brain patience play I've ever
That's
seen.
a chat
But
play.
no.
That's a chat play. When I saw Knowns, just walking around Juicy, I was like,
You're like, oh
Juicy's
my
just waiting.
gosh.
Juicy's cooking something.
He let him cook. Looks like they came up with a tech pause here, trying to get Juicy back into the game, and that gives us a little time to talk. What do you think so far here?
I think Varsity is basically doing amazing executions. I mean, they do have a more defensive team, but at the end of the day, we see that Georgia Tech does not have that much in the lines of defense. They just have this Viper and they just have this KJ. KJ can defend a side, yes, but they are investing this KJ into mid. Varsity likes to go mid sometimes, but when they send someone mid, they send like 1 or 2 persons, while they like to just push as much as possible. We saw that Enrique likes to, you know, get as much space as possible inside site with that updraft, and Georgia Tech is not managing to counteract these Enrique plays. They are doing really well in times of like burning as much time as possible. We see that some Freitech plant bomb plants are spike plants are like really late in game, and if not, they are like they manage to kill all the players before like they plant the bomb. So
I gotta agree there. Especially I think the Viper walls have been really on point here by Georgia Tech. They've just delayed so much, especially when players like Enrique like pushing on top of 410. They're like pushing on top of pipes, and so these walls have just been slowing them down. But Florida Tech has just made pressure in elsewhere. Like you said, they've put a lot of pressure mid through Juzy's flanks, and that's forcing Georgia Tech to just constantly be aware of that.
yeah, completely agree. Young, we have KJ in Georgia Tech side. When we see him pushing through mid, we see a really late push, like a really desperate push after we don't see like many sounds, because Florida Tech likes to wait as much as possible. We see that these plays where Florida Tech enters with 30 seconds left, or they start rotating 30 seconds before the round ends, and at that point we see Youngfish just trying to get that push through mid, but while he's pushing through mid, he gets picked by Juicy, or he gets picked by Enrique, like in the first round. And when you're playing a Sentinel, it's really nice to just anchor in a side and try to get as much info as possible. Don't try to like overshare your position as much, because as soon as you die, all your utility dies with you.
I do kind of agree there, but I will point out that one of the most successful rounds that Georgia Tech has had so far was one where they got space elsewhere. Florida Tech, this is probably round 2, I believe, or round 3, where Florida Tech had pushed all the way onto A, and Georgia Tech abused that fact and was able to just get a rotate through B and just flank the entirety of Florida Tech's team and just caught them all off guard, and that was probably one of the most successful rounds. But such a difficult balance, trying to figure out when's the best time to flank as opposed to accidentally overextending. So yeah, looks like Juzy did reconnect, so probably gonna end the tech pause soon, and hopefully the players got a little that buzz excitement out of them. Maybe we'll play on this little playground that is Icebox. Probably the most fun maps to just, you know, parkour around.
Absolutely, especially in that A side, as we saw like Georgia Tech trying to get into like a generator in A side.
Such a difficult jump.
Such a difficult jump, but it's really fun when you get it, and you get it like really good line of sights from there. You have a good angle towards the entry of A side, like main A side, and you also can cover nest.
Yeah. That's why we see a lot of characters who can teleport and move, just try to get on top of that box just because of how nice the line of sight is. And looks like we're back in the game, folks. And looks like Florida Tech, once again, pushing a lot of pressure towards A. They do manage to kill the dart that would spot them otherwise and get a dart of their own here. And Reskop is going to be able to spot unknowns here on top of the pipes. And just going to keep feeling it out. As per usual, a large amount of the players are stacked on A from both sides, but Juzy here making some space. but might be caught off guard here by the lurk. Backing off, not sure, just trying to feel things out. It's all a mind game. Whoever makes the first move. Just gotta make sure you're the one on top, and Juzi might not decide to go for it. Gotta stay in range of the util. This is quite the Mexican standoff.
God, the Mexican standoff. It's you can see.
Oh wow, that was a nice sound.
You can see both of them trying to get in.
And Juzi loses the standoff there. Mafu coming away. Florida Tech did get a scan there by Georgia Tech's knife,
30
as
seconds
you
left.
heard. A little doo-doop. That was a lot of players getting scanned. It looks like Florida Tech takes that as their cue to leave A site and push towards B. Only
You will not kill
one
my
play
ally.
here to stop them, and Florida Tech Sloshy does manage to revive Juzi, but there's so little time here. Have to
10
get the
seconds
plant
left.
down, but the Viper's Pit also going through.
Spike
And
down
Mafu
B.
goes crazy, getting 2 kills, and Enrique with the trade, only 3 seconds on the clock. Will they be able to get a kill? Mafu has a 4K, Enrique with a 3rd, and that was just absolute chaos.
That was absolute chaos. Both ults, Killjoy and Viper's ult being dropped down. The Viper from the side of the Georgia Tech, and then the Killjoy from the side of Florida Tech. It's absolute chaos. The players were running out, running in. As we saw, Mafu,
Yeah, Mafu
getting
went
all
crazy
those
there.
peaks, denying that plant from Satanic, and then at the end of the day, they managed to win the round. But we see this standoff between Mafu and Juzi, just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, that
Absolutely
standoff
beautiful.
was huge, and Mafu getting that kill and able just to deny. At the end of the day, Mafu pretty much one-man army denied Flortech's plan with that ult, and now Flortech decides they want revenge. They want to show that they can take B side. Enrique with a nice push does get to dash out in time. Now, numbers in favor of Florida Tech. Plant is going to go down here. A lot of roots are going to be put onto that spike. The wall, the KJ nades, the slows. And Florida Tech just going to be able to sit back in a nice, comfortable post-plant position, leaving Georgia Tech to decide how do you want to best approach this. But there's a massive flank here coming from Georgia Tech's side. Oh, but Reskop catches both of them off guard.
Enemy remaining.
Enrique with the kill as well. And Satanic with the trade, and wow.
Wow.
Florida Tech, beautiful holds.
Reskop
Race
being
to
the
the
savior of
side.
Florida Tech, in my opinion. They had that 2-man flank. Georgia Tech had that 2-man flank, and if it wasn't for Reskop, that would have been a perfect flank. They had everybody else sitting behind either yellow or Sage's wall, and you introduce the players in there, and they can do wonders, you know. But Reskop getting that cheeky flank through that small garage that they have there, and basically winning the round for Florida Tech, really comfortable for them.
Standing ahead.
Yeah, brilliant awareness there by Reskop. Just catches the flankers and secures the site. And now Florida Tech decides, yeah, we had our fun on B. Back to A. Good old A. This is their comfort site, it seems. But a lot of plays here are close. Unknowns in particular. It's right up in Florida Tech's face. B with a kill with the classic, with Satanic also onto unknowns. Enrique on his favorite box here on 410.
One
Juzi
enemy
also getting
remaining.
a kill, a double even. And now it's just Young Fish versus 4 Florida Tech players with Spike down. Probably just gonna try to get a pick, but Enrique does spot the shoulder blade, and Florida Tech walks away with the round. Explosive stuff here. Back on A side.
Satanic Monk losing to that classic. Like at that point, it's the range, you know. I think Satanic Monk had like the better weapon. The problem is that rate of fire. You can hit those nasty headshots with that classic, especially when you have like the alternate fire, and then getting that alternate fire into like a head. It's basically a free kill, you know?
Yeah, free gun by the way. Classic, underrated for sure. And Florida Tech going for A. Enrique does get knives off, but doesn't manage to get a kill. And now is back to Vandal. Sloshy with the trade though, and Reskop also popping ult. doesn't manage to spot anyone, I don't think. Looks like the site is going to be committed here for Florida Tech, but Satanic is so far up here in tube. 1v1 against the turret, takes it down, backs off. Just going to put so much pressure here onto Georgia Tech. Now they have to be aware of a possible kitchen flank. Looks like they're just going to bide their time here. Probably just waiting for the perfect opportunity. Chocolate, though, picks Juzi off to bring the fight down to 4v4. Oh, and Reskop is in a perfect position here, but Chocolate putting in more work. Another kill here, evening things out once again, but Vortec is on site. Enrique on top. Sloshy getting the plant. Mafu, though, does get a kill onto Slosh. And Enrique's alone here on site. Here's a lot of footsteps around. And the killjoy ult by Young Fish is going to just force Enrique to make a play here. Goes for a really aggressive pick, gets the kill, gets the turret.
One enemy remaining.
Now Defuse going through, and Satanic and Enrique close thing out. Wow.
Wow.
That was... I love the
Last
play there
round
by
before the
Enrique.
switch.
You're pressured by the turret, you're pressured by the killjoy play, pressured by that ult. Just going for it. Looks like we're gonna get another tech pause here as Juzi has disconnected once again.
Yeah, we're having a little bit of technical issues from the side of Juicy. Wow, that, as you said, Enrique with that play, getting all that push from Killjoy, not only having like the turret, but having like Killjoy herself, having Mafu on top of lanes, and then all that push that Soba had in at the bottom of A side, and he manages to get the Killjoy, kill on Killjoy. Manages to destroy that, and at the end of the day managed to get the pick on Mafu. And wow, what, like as you said, what a round from Enrique.
Yeah,
amazing play.
I gotta say just that. I think that's what makes a duelist great. What makes a duelist really unique and stand out is those who are willing to just go for it. They have that confidence. They're willing to just run at players, at utility when it is necessary. So Enrique played the role perfectly, and Satanic as well had a wonderful round there. He managed to push all the way up tube, gets the turret, and that just, if you're on the side of Georgia Tech there, alarm bells are ringing left, right, and center. You know there could be someone flanking you at all times now because your turret's gone. And so that puts so much pressure, and I think is what allowed Florida Tech to make so much space onto the A site. So brilliant round by the two.
Brilliant round by the two. If it wasn't from Enrique, that round would have gone to Georgia Tech. Absolutely, in my opinion, Killjoy absolutely oppressive operator. Having that turret watching backwards and herself watching like the front of the bomb, and then Mafu getting those peaks. Were devastating for Florida Tech, but at the end of the day, they managed to get the round with that Enrique play. Yeah, absolutely, both teams doing an amazing job.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Like you said, without Enrique's play, I think that round would have definitely gone towards Georgia Tech, and that just goes to show that ult wasn't bad. That ult was really good there by Young Fish. It denied so much space and pushed players offside, but it was just so unfortunate that Enrique was in that advanced position, and there's no way to guess that. I think that was, honestly, Young Fish did the best play as well, and just went to a coin toss, and Enrique's fast reaction just decided that 1v1. Yeah, brilliant stuff here, and this is the last round in the half as well. So we're either going to see a 9-3 curse
Or
a
10-2.
10-2. So really important round here.
And
for
we
both
saw the
teams.
message that Juicy just got reconnected. Let's wait until he actually gets launched into game. What's your predictions? Do we get the 10-2 or do we win the 9-3?
Despite what the scoreboard says, I still think it can go either way. I think it really depends on the macro scale. What are the teams doing as a whole? Where are the players, and who can spot the weakness? Because so far, the rounds have typically gone to the team that's been able to find the holes in the defense. The teams have been able to figure out where's the weak side and where to push, because there's all these moments where there's little banter happening in chat, caught my eye, but just all these rounds where one person's or two people's flank has meant everything. So I think honestly it can go both ways. Vortec probably gonna decide to go for their favorite site here on Icebox. A is the way.
A is the way. A is the way. And now, a small reminder: Vortec's comp has 2 sentinels. For defense, those 2 sentinels plus the Viper is gonna be really extremely oppressive. Getting into one of the sides, it's gonna be really, really hard. And we get the first pick from the side of Juzi, coming back from like reconnecting and now getting the first pick.
Got the PC buff, new PC buff. Now Flotech getting the plant, and knives are also being popped on the side of Georgia Tech. A lot of ults here being used. Or push Flotech back. Sloshy does get the kill onto B though. That ult though is going to keep going. Mafu catches Juzi off guard, and Unknowns gets the res onto B. A nice little kill there with the knives. But Sloshy and Enrique getting a lot of kills here. And now, after a chaotic couple of trades, Reskop closes it out, and it goes to a 10-2. That was explosive.
That was extremely explosive. We saw Unknowns getting that kill, like absolutely beautiful kill on Killjoy. With those knives. What's the difference between Enrique and Unknowns? Enrique is gaining a lot of space. Unknowns still has this fear of like entering into sight. I haven't seen that much of those smoke plays. We saw at the beginning of like in round 19, round 7, when Vortec went into B. We saw an amazing smoke coming from Unknowns. That was a one-way covering Enrique, covering like the entrance from A main, and basically almost getting the round. But at the end of the day, like, Vortec manages with these oppressive like compositions to get as much as possible.
And I'm very excited here as Georgia Tech goes into the attack. I was just gonna say, Unknowns could shine here, and decides, yeah, he heard me, I guess.
Yeah.
He gets 2 kills off the bat and makes so much pressure here. And Georgia Tech decides to rotate off of that. I think a really good call here. It's going to catch the Vortec defense off guard. Mafu, though, going for a little lurk play. And Youngfish has also lurked up kitchen. So a lot of space here in control by Georgia Tech, and they do decide to commit the plant. Oh my goodness, B just a master of stealth and ninja. Gets a kill onto Satanic.
Absolutely losing all sight and walking next to B. Oof.
That was ninja play.
It was a pain plays, you know.
In retrospect, that's gotta hurt.
One
but
enemy remaining.
Looks like Georgia Tech is walking away with this round in a flawless manner, and that's a really good start here.
Absolutely, absolutely. This time we see Unknowns getting all that space now. This time Enrique cannot push. They try to get as much space into A, into like all the hangar area, into even trying to get into nests. But at the end of the day, Unknowns gets the 2 peaks, and basically they control the game since then. Really good play into rotating, just trying to like gain as much space as possible. We saw some of the rotation from Vortec going into A side, but yeah.
Yeah, and off the bat, Enrique getting a kill with the classic, but Georgia Tech is sitting on a gun advantage here after winning that first round, and Youngfish is gonna use that with the Bulldog to get a kill into mid, and now just slowly pinching. Very good reaction there by Youngfish, getting another kill here this time onto Sloshy, and Georgia Tech is going to just abuse that and get a B site for free. No one here to stop them as they just get whatever position they want. They do decide to go for a plant towards Snowman. Interesting choice here. Youngfish getting quite aggressive. does get a third kill onto Reskop, who gets caught off guard trying to push onto site. And now they're in a really comfortable position here. 4v2 in their favor. Turret does spot another.
One enemy remaining.
On Young Fish with a fourth.
And are we getting the ace? Are we getting the ace? Are we getting the ace?
Ace. Oh, Enrique does get the kill.
3.
Does up to a triple. So little time. Ambitious dash there, but Mafu closes it out. Come on. Got a 4K.
Gotta for
Gotta go for this.
Gotta go for these. You gotta go for these at that point. Young Fish doing a really good job. You know, getting those these entry frags and basically taking control of side. I like his positioning. You know, playing the mind games against Florida Tech, getting these cheeky kills, like hitting as much as possible, playing with the angles. Absolutely amazing job from him.
I gotta agree. Seems like here on attack, Georgia Tech is starting to shine, getting a lot more aggression out of their duelist, and Young Fish is doing what Juzi did on Florida Tech side, which is getting that space mid and elsewhere. Looks like a lot of noise is being pushed here onto A, but in the meanwhile, Young Fish getting caught off guard on B, and first kill goes towards Florida Tech. Looks like Georgia Tech gonna reevaluate their choices here and decide to actually just keep committing to A. Drone is going to come in. Just making more and more space. And Enrique with a kill onto unknowns. And just to slow down the push even further. Another kill here by Enrique, catches B off guard. Sloshy getting
Spike
Mafu.
down A.
Now it's a 1v4. Enrique closes it out.
And we see a triple from Enrique. Against getting so much control from that spot on top of boxes. Before I take getting control of A side, and I don't know if you saw it, but there was a sage wall like at the beginning of the run. We saw the sage wall to try to get like a better angle and basically to block as much information as possible. But let's remember, Soba from the side of Georgia Tech missed the arrow. They were not able to gather all that information. They were forced to use the KO knife and try to regain information.
Looks like Florida Tech getting really aggressive here. Enrique in particular is going all the way up onto the exit. Getting so much information. Does get a kill. Mafu though also getting one. Enrique with the double beautiful headshots there. So much value, so much space. And now 3v4 in favor of Florida Tech. They're going to back off of A site. There's a lot of noise happening B, so it looks like that's probably where they're going to go. The spike isn't committed. Chocolate with a nice pick in mid. Gets a pick, backs off. Very diligent. Really good choice here, narrowing down the numbers. Young Fish getting a pick onto Satanic, and that's going to secure the plant here for Georgia Tech.
Spike planted.
Rig dashing, trying to get as fast as possible onto the site. Is in a position on top. Catches B off guard for a third kill. Now down to a 2v2. Both sides. Same number of players. Enrique pops the knives, but Young Fish catches him from the rear. And now it's up to Sloshy. 2v1 situation. So much util. Doesn't get scanned. Gets like first kill. Was continually getting scanned here. Does ping the spike. Oh, but now the fake is known. The jig is up. Sloshy does get the kill. Don't think he has time for it.
I don't think he has time for it. If he has time, it's gonna be really close. And
no. Another round here for Georgia Tech. Cutting it close, but
really close. Really
out.
close. We saw Enrique missing the jump. Did not realize that Young Fish was hiding behind inside B side, and he manages to get the pick. I think if like Enrique doesn't die, Florida could have had a chance, but at the end of the day,
yeah, I think that was a really good position there taken by Young Fish. One of the places you don't consider looking in. That's the strength of choosing those crazy off angles. Really spicy play here by Florida Tech. A little sage wall that Enrique tries to get onto the ledge of, but does get punished for that. And now 5v4 favor of Georgia
Scanning
Tech,
ahead.
and they're just pushing towards the A side. Florida Tech is aware of the position, getting a couple of scans in, and now the plant is gonna go down. Does get cancelled.
Spike down
Satanic getting
A.
a double kill, a triple kill even, holding down site, holding down spike, waiting for those rotates to come in, and now spike is still under Florida Tech's control. There's unaware of the last
One
player's
enemy
position.
remaining.
Juzi getting a kill onto
Spike
unknowns, and it's
down
up to
A.
Youngfish with a little flank coming in here. Will he be able to get himself in the correct position to catch Satanic or the other Florida Tech players off guard? Does manage to catch Juzi off guard. Gets a kill here, but Sloshy's ready for it.
Again, Youngfish has a really good ideas with those flanks, but at the end of the day, Tech was in a 3v1. It's really hard to win a 3v1. He manages to get one pick, but at the end of the day, numbers advantage. That's the
Yeah.
only. That's the only thing.
Those picks do matter economically, but like you said, that number advantage was just so insurmountable at times. So, yeah.
I
love
now
the ideas.
we see Fire Tech going for a full buy, while Georgia Tech goes for half buy in last round.
Yeah, Florida Tech trying to close things out here as they have the advantage and are on match point. Reskop with the first spam kill here, Enrique as well. And Georgia Tech's push here onto A is falling apart as Florida Tech players are just pushing so aggressively. Youngfish does get a kill though. Sloshy aiming for Youngfish, gets B
One
instead.
enemy remaining.
Satanic getting the kill onto Mafu, and now 4v1 for Florida Tech. Youngfish here against the world. Gotta get a crazy heroic play here to keep them into the game. Florida Tech decides just to play it slow.
Revealing
They
area.
have so much in their favor. They have the guns, they have the players. Now it's just up to them to not fumble this crazy advantage. Sloshy decides to go for res, but
Defenders
Juzi
win.
closes it out.
A really good map from the side of Florida Tech. They managed to get as much advantage as possible, especially in the attack rounds. Those attack rounds were really close. Sometimes we saw Georgia Tech pushing back to Florida Tech, but at the end of the day, Florida Tech managed to get Enrique inside, getting all that space, gaining that advantages in numbers, and then playing with the utility. We saw really nice role that these Vipers took in Icebox, denying all that information, denying all that push, but Florida Tech manages to play around that and basically wins the map.
Yep, well played by both teams, and we're now going to go on to a little break here, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes. See you guys then.
Welcome back to map number 2 of Florida Techs against Georgia Tech Blue. And this time we have Pearl.
I love Pearl.
I hate it. I absolutely hate this map.
We can't all be right.
I agree. I agree.
This map,
Um,
I think it's so spicy. So much potential mid. So many cool angles. I played it a ton when it came out, and looking forward to see what the players go for here. And
and
looks like
a small reminder, Sloshy was subbed for Sat on the side of Florida Tech. So we're gonna see a different composition. Maybe we're gonna see 2 initiators instead of 2 sentinels. And especially in this map that you don't need that much sentinels, the role of initiator is way more important, just because there's so many ways that you can get into a site. As you said, like mid, you can get from mid, you can get it everywhere. There's like 20 different routes to one side. You can even go through like defender side to like
Select
get
your
some
agent.
nice flanks through sewers.
oh, we get a Yoru pick here. Very
Ooh.
excited to see that, as well as a Gecko pick on Georgia Tech sides. The smokes of choice here. Astra on both sides. What do you think about that?
I love Astra. She brings such a good utility, and I think Chocolate and Satanic Monk can make absolutely wonders if they know how to use the smokes, if they know how to use these gravity walls, and if they know how to place the stars really well. And we've seen that Satanic plays really well with Enrique. Seeing an Astra and a Jet playing together and playing like on sync, it's
Oh yeah,
It's
we're
a
gonna get
wonder.
some spicy, maybe some pools by the Astra into a rapid push by Enrique. Looking forward to seeing that. Only downside here of the smoke like Astra is that those smokes don't fully cover that B entrance. It does cover nearly entirely, but there are some tiny gaps that can occur if you're not careful. But other than that, Astra's just so good on this map. Looks like Georgia Tech starting on defense and Florida Tech on the offense, and Florida Tech going for 5-man push into A. Kind of a very tried and true strategy. Pistol round just going with the team. And they're going to go fully onto A here, already onto the site. Smoke's going to allow them to push and get the spike down, but Mafu gets first blood here. Satanic with the trade, and Enrique getting a kill as well. And spike is down. Low health here for Florida Tech players, but Sat has the heal. He's going to be able to heal up the squad up to full. And now, 4v3 here. Young Fish does manage to put Wingman onto the spike. It does get killed though. That's going to delay the spike defuse for even longer. Chocolate designed to push that smoke, getting a kill. It does fall though. And a kill here by Enrique and Satanic Monk. Decide to fall back here, abuse their number advantage, and they get the kill.
really well done for Florida Tech getting that control of the side. That Gecko. I like the utility that it has, but the blinds are not as reliable as other blinds. Let's remember that. You can still get some line of sight when you get that when you get blinded. And the little guy, what's the name of the little guy?
The one that plants?
Yeah,
Wingman.
Wingman. It's really not reliable when you are in line of sight of the enemy. The enemy can destroy Wingman really easy. It's like HP, that's like 2 shots from the classic, and 40 gets a run basically.
But I really like Gecko here on this B side that Florida Tech is designed to go for. You can kind of get him into a nice position and get this plant without putting a player in danger. Looks like Florida Tech is continuing to push here onto this B long area, but there's a lot of pressure and they do get a trip shot down here and have to be aware of that flank. Reskop with first blood of the round, and it looks like Florida Tech still making pressure a bit all over the map. It decides to commit here. Enrique already pushed up on top of a nice box position. Satanic with a beautiful flick and wall bang onto Chocolate. Enrique also getting a kill, and Florida Tech is securing that site. Enrique kills Young Fish, who is lurking in the back of sight, and now just be alone, and Enrique finishes the job with the Vandal.
What a great job from Protect. Gain as much space, that Cypher getting as much info as possible. We saw the flank. We saw that flank from the Killjoy. I think it's Youngfish from the side of Georgia Tech, and he manages to get a shot down. And we're gonna see a little message from Enrique.
Little clip.
Yeah.
Message, clip it for the Twitch, for the fans. And looks like Flortech now going on to an eco round, going to push towards mid, but also leaving Enrique on the A side. Mafu does get the ult orb though, and Reskop getting first pick here as they're pushing through mid. Enrique might get caught off guard, does manage to react in time, procs the dash. Decides to stay here, but yours already TP'd out at this point. Looks like Flortech is leaning more towards B side, getting a lot of pressure, and looks like they're actually going for a spicy little push into sewers. Wow. Catching everyone off guard. Maybe even going towards defender's spawn here. This is going to be a very dangerous position as B tries to push in. And Reskop is ready for it, and now Reskop's gonna get so much space into the defender side. Does manage to pick up a gun upgrade as well. And now Georgia Tech just worried about those players in the back of their spawn. Juzi's already pushed up here.
30 seconds left.
Very quick on his reaction. Does manage to kill unknowns, but the trade comes through. Spike's gonna go down. But now it's just Chocolate versus 3 Florida Tech players here. Reskop with a very good flank and closes it out. That middle position, terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying. If you get control in mid in this map, especially if you get access to sewers and both A link and B link, basically you win art. You can win a defender spawn, as we see from the side of Satanic. You can win B link. It's
this is a nice spot.
Absolutely. It's absolutely out of this world.
They have nowhere to hide.
And we saw that. We saw how Protect manages to get all those rounds, manages to get all those kills, all those picks, and they managed to win a bonus run. This is extremely important. That was a bonus run for the side of Protect.
Yeah, Flortech, thanks to that really strong power play pushing into sewers, is now running away with an economic advantage here. And just make a lot of noise B here, but Reskop has a very important play here. Will he be caught off guard? And yes, Youngfish does get the kill, but Enrique on his own on site, making a lot of damage, getting a lot of kills here, leaving it down to Youngfish and B, but B does get a spray here. And now Juzi has to be very aware. Youngfish also getting killed. Now down to 2v2 with so little health here on Sack. He does get killed, and Youngfish doing a lot of crazy plays. First flash is dodged, but the second does not get dodged, and B manages to close it out. Really important round there for Georgia Tech.
Absolutely, and Protect doesn't even manage to plant the bomb. Georgia Tech being really oppressive, getting the kill. Youngfish getting all the kill on the Cypher from the side of Protect. Sad died, and basically they gain control of the map. They know that Protect cannot gain information anymore. They cannot control the flanks and the explosiveness that this Georgia Tech composition has. That Gecko brings so much utility to this composition.
Yeah, I agree. Georgia Tech definitely has that explosive factor going for them, especially with B here on the Yoru. And looks like they're going to abuse this space that they're able to get and just push so far in the map. But Florida Tech says, take it, take the space, we're just taking B. So it looks like they are going to push fully onto B, get that site, get that plant down. And Georgia Tech is going to be attacking on all fronts here. A lot of players are going to be able to get a flank, and Juzi does get a kill to kind of narrow things down to 4v4. And defender ult here is going to be popped by Mafu. Youngfish coming from the other side, and this is devastating for Florida Tech, getting pushed off of the site by the Killjoy ult, while also getting pincered from both sides. And Georgia Tech 3v1 against Sat. And they are going to close that out with some beautiful util usage.
Beautiful usage from the side of Logitech. We saw that Killjoy lockdown. The lockdown was really important after Florentech uses Astro's Cosmic Divide. You cannot destroy the lockdown if you cannot see it. You cannot destroy the lockdown if you don't know where it is. And Georgia Tech managed to use all this information and basically catapults themselves into a win. As you saw, the lockdown push for Tech players to try to get out of the side, try to get as much space, but they were waiting on the flank. That Gecko, that Killjoy, I think it was, and they get
Camera
the
taken
round, and
out.
it's
Yeah, the space taken there by Georgia Tech was massive that last round. Looks like Unknowns was feeling like going for the same sort of space move, but does get punished here by Reskop's cam and is forced back. Florentech a lot of position mid, but Youngfish goes crazy, getting two, trade out by Sat. Already down to 3v3, but Spike's all the way in spawn. Florentech has to send a player to grab that Spike. Reskop though lurking up through A, but Unknowns looks like he's ready for it with the op. And that is a scary spot to be in if you're Reskop here. Just 1v1, and Reskop gets the kill with the Sheriff. Onto the op, pops the ult. Absolutely massive here for Florentech. That might just have turned the tides here for this round. Reskop trying to play off of the blind, but Mafu goes crazy.
One enemy remaining.
And now they're down to 1v1. Util used by both sides. Oh, and this is going to be so close here. 25 seconds on the clock. The flash is going to go through. Reskop is going to be able to blind it. Does manage to spot the elbow, but so does B. And now this Util's going to go through. Oh, and he just gets faked out. Reskop has to make something happen here and gets the kill. The clutch here for Reskop, pushing Florentech back into the lead.
wow. What a play from Reskop, getting all those skills with the Sheriff, knowing how to pick the 1v1s. You saw Reskop manages to get the Jet, manages to get Mafu, manages to get B, and at the end of the day, it's like it's Reskop's game. It was Reskop's round.
Man, the Chad Sheriff user, average Sheriff enjoyer, manages to get a kill onto the op of all guns. Really shows that anything can happen if you position yourself right and play your gun right. And now, Georgia Tech goes for a really aggressive push here. Instantly punished by Reskop and Enrique. Really insane reactions there by Florida Tech. And now they're just going to get this site for free.
I've got your trail.
They're going to pop the Seekers here. And Enrique getting another kill. And the site is just theirs. Theirs for the picking. They are going to get the Spike down. But Mafu going crazy with 2 kills as well. Enrique decides to try to take some space elsewhere. Doesn't look like he's going to commit towards this push. But he is hearing footsteps. And he knows Unknown's position. Sat does get the kill. And now it's Mafu versus 3 Florida Tech players. Already had a heroic moment this round. Can he do it again? That is the question. Prowler doesn't spot him. But time is running low. Health is low. And the Prowler this time catches him. And Enrique plays off the dog perfectly, getting the last kill.
Absolutely. Enrique knowing how to play these entries, getting all those skills. We saw the flick that he had on the Astra on Chocolate, and doing a really well job getting into A side, getting into Link, and wow. But at the same time, Mafu getting those 2 kills, equalizing the number of players on each team, and
Here.
it's just that little extra push that Georgia Tech needs, you know?
Yeah, I gotta say, there's 2 words to describe what's been happening so far. It's just been double kill.
Double kill
After double kill after double kill. We're seeing heroic plays on both sides. Speaking of heroic plays, B with another little Sheriff doink onto Enrique. And that's gonna push Florida Tech players back. Florida Tech decides to just commit to this site. Gonna get the plant down, but Youngfish getting the kill onto Reskop in the
Spike
flank, and
planted.
Sat also getting a kill on B. Down to a 4v3 here. Unknowns gets caught off guard by Sat, and Sat getting another double kill, pushing up to 3 kills this round. And now, Flortech has all their players on or behind site. Ult is popped. Chocolate does manage to get a kill though. Prowlers are coming at both Youngfish and Chocolate. And Juzi might be able to catch them off guard here. Does manage to spot them, doesn't manage to catch any of them off guard. Gets instantly punished by Chocolate. Satanic trying to slow things down with a pull onto the spike. Does he have time? Chocolate might just be able to get this defuse off and clutches it off with 0.95 seconds on the clock.
As you said, double kill behind, double kill behind, double kill. That's the name of the game right now. Absolutely beautiful from both teams. We saw more utility usage from the side of Varsity, but at the end of the day, Georgia Tech getting those hero plays, you know, getting those kills, getting those Gecko and Astra playing really well together right now. Plus you have basically 3 players, one that is defusing, which is Wingman, and then you have 2 other people covering the diffuser. Just beautiful from the side of Georgia Tech.
And speaking of Georgia Tech, looks like they have an op on the B site. That's going to be really difficult to deal with here in the hands of Unknowns, as he's going to have so much line of sight. Enrique pops knives though. They're just gonna push onto the site. Up, so be it. Let's just run at them. Mafu though, getting a kill with a Vandal. Reskop getting a trade as well. Down to 4v4. The ult is gonna be used here by Reskop to just keep track of where all the players are. To go for aggressive push here. Gets a kill onto B as well. Has to be careful. Unknowns does punish him with up. Sat getting the kill onto Chocolate, coming through Link, and now it's on to 1v3. Unknowns here, left in an impossible scenario. Op retake, not looking good for this round. Probably gonna go for a save here.
Yeah, in this point, Unknowns doesn't have much to do. He has an operator. It's really hard. It's really hard to clutch with an operator. I think the closest gun that he has is yours gun, like on the stairs, but that's a spot that Flortech must be watching, and to be honest, really hard.
Yep, looks like Flortech is gonna run away with that round, but the op is saved here by Georgia Tech.
Absolutely, as we saw this time, Flortech playing with that utility that they have. Like they had Enrique with the knives, and when they get the push, everybody's gonna focus all the eyes on Enrique. But Enrique was not like the main character this time. He manages to get all the information.
Oh wow, look at this aggressive push by Unknowns. Does get a kill with the op and manages to just get out for free. Beautiful pick there. That's some chamber style of play. Getting a kill and leaving. We haven't seen those in a while. Looks like Mafu gonna hold down the fort on the B side, which is probably the right play here as Flortech decides to pivot their position towards mid, probably leaning towards B. And now everyone's up to just figuring out who is where.
But it just looks at the ultimates that Flortech has against the ultimates that Georgia Tech has. Just right now, they have 3 ultimates. They just use Gecko's ultimate, but Gecko can reuse that ultimate again and again and again until like basically the round ends every 10 seconds ish. I think it's really good time.
The Thrash is the only one that he can only use twice.
Twice?
Yeah, well, he can use it the first time, and he can use it after picking up, so a second time. So he does have another use onto that Thrash, which is going to be lovely here for a retake. Flortech does get the plant down. Mafu's waiting there with the Killjoy util, and there's going to be so much pressure pushing Flortech players off this side. Satanic does manage to get a kill. Mafu with the trade, though. Thrash, as we said, going back in, but now none of the Florida Tech players are detained, and they're all pushing to Cubby. It's going to be an all-out brawl here as all the teams are fighting for the spike. Wingman doesn't manage to get onto spike. Looks like B is just going to hold the spike here, and Unknowns and Mafu holding down the fort as the defuse goes through.
And we saw an absolute clash right now, everybody trying to get as much peak as possible. Florida Tech loses it, and Georgia Tech basically playing with the spray, playing with the smokes, getting as much picks as possible while Mafu was getting the defuse. I don't know what to say at this point. They make use of two really good ultimates. They managed to push Florida Tech out of the bomb with that cages lockdown, and they managed to get the round.
Yeah, I think that pick also by Unknowns with the op, the first one, just made a huge difference, already narrowing down the players. And it looks like Mafu's gonna have his work cut out for him as he's stuck alone here on site. His util is gonna force Florida Tech players back and gonna cut the team off into two. Cosmic Divide is used by Satanic Monk, but Youngfish getting first blood here with the mosh pit. Mafu also getting a kill onto Juzi here. Cosmic Divide is going to go down, and the wall falls and all hell breaks loose as players getting kills after kill, and B gets the last kill onto Sat, who is alone to defend. And now Georgia Tech clawing their way back up, almost evening things out here. 5-6 going into the last round
in the half.
And I think this time, as we saw, Florida Tech was doing an echo round. This time we're gonna see a full buy from both sides, the side of Florida Tech and the side of Georgia Tech. And again,
time to go into the
this operator on the hands of Georgia Tech. Wow, Unknowns has been able to get to be really oppressive from both sides. He's been able to get those peaks. He's been able to just.
That'll work.
The idea of having an operator is scary for Florida Tech.
That's true. So many lines of sight are become uncontrollable zones where if you peek that, you just instantly die. So they have to be very careful here. Youngfish getting first blood. Sat getting the trade though, as Florida Tech makes a lot of pressure towards mid. Decide not to commit towards that mid push. Still trying to feel things out. Looks like they're going towards Art. No one's there to hold it. So this is a really good read here by Florida Tech. They're going to go split here as Enrique is going to follow Reskop towards the main entrance of A. Still playing things slow. Couple players from Georgia Tech still on B side. And noise is made. As Florida Tech continues their slow push here. Looks like a clash might happen as Chocolate pushes into Sat, getting a kill. Enrique dashing onto site, trying to get B, who does get a kill, gets traded by Reskop. Now 3v1, sorry, in favor of Georgia Tech, and Enrique alone here, backside. And Unknowns with the slow crouch peek up, even things out, going 6-6 into this half.
Switching sides.
Really scary for Florida Tech. They had control last map, and now they are being challenged. This is compared to what we saw last map. This is actually how equal we wanted the game to be. We saw that Georgia Tech had a really good initiative, but at the end of the day they couldn't execute really well. But now we're seeing that execute from Georgia Tech, getting all that space, getting all those kills. Absolutely amazing.
Gotta agree, Georgia Tech really bringing their A game here on this Pearl map, after kind of falling short on Icebox, but here they're definitely stepping it up, getting a lot of really good kills, really good picks off the get-go, and getting a lot of information. They seem to always figure out where Florida Tech's going. Looks like Florida Tech is all over the map, as is Georgia Tech, as Georgia Tech decides to push both A and B at the same time, while leaving some pressure mid just to hold for those flanks. Playing very slow, and looks like they might be considering pushing back towards A, decide to fall back, and still feeling things out here as a lot of pressure is put mid, and Mafu getting the first blood onto Juzi. That's going to open up a lot of space mid here for Georgia Tech as they try to decide which side they want to go to. Looks like a clash is going to happen towards the long portion of the map. He getting a kill onto Sat. Down to 5v3 in favor of Georgia Tech. Enrique just back and forth, trying to figure out where to go. Pushes the one way, doesn't manage to get a kill, but gets a huge amount of info for the team. Youngfish going to be able to plant with the wingman. Satanic on the flank though, getting a kill onto Mafu. 4v3, 4v2 now with Chocolate getting a kill. Now Enrique here in this heaven position has to make something happen with the Sheriff. Some decent damage going in, but the smoke's going to just push him back. And Youngfish, in a beautiful spot, does manage to get a kill. Enrique now, after the trade, left alone. So little HP. Just gonna be delayed with the stars and so little to do here. The flash comes in and Unknown's getting the last kill.
I love this round from the side of from Georgia Tech. Really well done. They managed to get the picks in link. They managed to rotate through mid, and basically they gain control of mid. And as we said like before, in this map, mid is really important. You can go basically everywhere with mid. We saw the Cypher Reskop from the side of Varsity covering A side alone, and as a sentinel you can do that, but the problem is that if you don't have like control of mid, you can get like pushed back.
Looks like Varsity going for some rapid aggression mid here. Sat with a shorty. Satanic's also here. Really aggressive stars. And it's an all-out brawl here, pushing into spawn. Players from left, right, and center. Unknown's getting a kill and dismissing off the rip. Reskop here, but Youngfish reacts and gets a triple kill. Down to Enrique here. Alone does hear the footsteps. And wow. Georgia Tech, once again, showing their prowess here in mid. Just giving them full control of wherever they want to go. And even a Vandal here in the hands of Mafu. As it's a 5v1. Enrique here just trying to get damage. Trying to maybe pick up a gun here in mid. Doesn't seem to see any. Decides to just keep pushing. Probably gonna just try to get whatever he can. Just a classic though to play with, as Georgia Tech has full control of every entry point here. Enrique does manage to spot Unknowns. Big amount of damage, but Unknowns closes out for a flawless bonus round for Georgia Tech.
Well, Georgia Tech manages to get a huge advantage with those better weapons, but at the end of the day, they managed to win the round. Fratek is not able to do, is basically not able to do anything, and now we see a different Fratek of what we saw, but this time we're gonna see a full buy from Fratek. What do you think?
I think this is the round that Florida Tech needs. They need to get their confidence back. They need to get some momentum back here. But Youngfish off the rip, getting a kill onto Reskop after getting detained, and Georgia Tech just, they're taking so much space in these mid pushes, and it's catching Florida Tech off guard. Looks like they're gonna execute onto the A site. Oh, and so much util here coming through. So little you can do. Satanic does get a kill here. And Juzi's getting close. Another Thrash here coming through. Does manage to detain Sat. But Juzi in a beautiful position, getting the kill onto Youngfish after he goes onto the offense here. Now, numbers in favor of Florida Tech here. 3v2. Spike is just going to be continually delayed with all this util. And we're going to go for that defuse. Now it's up to Florida Tech to just try, hold them back. Sat gets the kill onto B, and this defuse comes in. A cheeky little aggression here, trying to get that gun out of Mafu's hand, but Mafu punishes Enrique as Florida Tech walks away with the first round in this half.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And we saw a different Florida Tech that we saw before. This time getting those advantages, getting those peaks. Sadly, Reskop falls to the Thrasher and gets healed at the beginning of the round. But Florida Tech manages to keep the structure and to keep the pushes, and they do a really good job.
I think Georgia Tech here is doing a wonderful job with their mid presence. Again, Florida Tech has to just keep being wary of that. And looks like Florida Tech might be trying to adapt to it, putting a lot of players into link. As Georgia Tech continues to go for a default here, just going in all areas of the map, not really committing to any particular place, just trying to feel it out, trying to get a pick wherever they can, and just try to find the weak spot here in Florida Tech's defense. Looks like Unknowns is going to push up into Art, but Juzi is going to be here, and they do manage to catch Unknowns here on the cam.
Careful.
So they are aware of this push through Art, and a lot of Florida Tech players coming to the rescue. Juzi getting a kill, Mafu with the trade. Now Reskop going for a more aggressive play, and the trip does manage to spot Georgia Tech as they're going for that link push, and things are going to start falling apart here as Satanic Monk gets a double kill, one onto Young Fish. In that link position, now Spike is down. Florida Tech has everything in the world here working in their favor. 4 plays against 2. B does manage to catch 2 off guard. The Satanic closes it out.
Now, really well played against from Florida Tech. They had the gun. They had a bit of like this the same gun situation, and they managed to get the upper hand. Now we see Florida Tech predicting this mid push that we saw in round 1 and round 2 from the side of Georgia Tech, and they managed to do a really good job stopping them and preventing them to getting in. We see that this time Satanic Monk gets those 2 picks again. As you said, this is the game of like the 2 kills, and now again same thing. They send a lot of players into mid.
And speaking of mid, full rush here by Georgia Tech through Art, but not after Enrique was able to get a pick here. Now 4v5. Florida Tech has a lot of space here to A main, and Georgia Tech decides to back off of that space they got in Art. Decides they're leaning more towards B site. But they're not committed here. Starting to back off. But Florida Tech is on the hunt. A lot of pressure being pushed here. Satanic is in a beautiful spot in link, while Juzi's holding down the fort in Art. And looks like he's going to catch Mafu off guard and wins the 1v1. That's just going to put Georgia Tech even further on the back foot this round. Enrique here holding long, does hear Young Fish's dizzy, is probably has a good idea of where Georgia Tech is deciding to end here. Blind does come through by Sat. Enrique getting a kill, B also getting killed, but now 2v1 here around this little box, and B closes it out. Now, narrowing things further down, 2v3. Dizzy's going to come out. Blind Juzi as Juzi goes for the C, slowing down the play. The wingman's going to go down, and the spike is just stuck out in the middle. Huge play by B with the blind. And Young Fish also getting a kill. Reskop forced back. Just trying to make something happen here. Does get a kill with the Ares, down to 1v1 with a tiny fraction of health though. Has the cam, but does no clue where the last player is here. Try to play it slow, but has to be worried about that time, and Young Fish is in a nice spot. No way for Reskop to know. And the reaction by Young Fish is immaculate, closing out the round, putting Georgia Tech into the lead.
Wow, it turned into a 3v2. It was a 4v2 into a 3v2, and then like Georgia Tech manages to get all those peaks and get basically all the information that they needed. A little bit of Florida Tech, a little bit pushing too much, getting too excited, and at the end of the day, they got hot-headed.
Yeah, Georgia Tech really finding their rhythm here. Here in mid seems to be their go-to place, and Thrash by Young Fish is gonna push all these Florida Tech players back so much further. Satanic does manage to get detained, but Juzi punishes B's aggression here. Enrique with a kill and Sat with a double kill with the Sheriff. Huge kills here by Sat, and pushing it down to a 1v5. Florida Tech on an eco run has Spike down, and it's up to Mafu alone to try to make something happen here with a Vandal. Enrique going for aggression and does get the info, so now the jig is up. Mafu, now his position is known, and Sat gets the trade. And that was a big round for Florida Tech.
That was a beautiful run for Florida Tech. Everybody manages to get rifles out. Enrique didn't waste a single dime, and now is able to buy an up. Basically, the economy of Georgia Tech falls to the ground. As you said, this has been the game of hero plays. This has been the game of hero plays. This has been the game of double kills. This has been the game of surprises. We saw Georgia Tech getting those double kills like every single round, like round after round. But it's now the turn of Florida Tech. They managed, Sad manages to get that double kill with the Sheriff, and it's wow.
But that looks like Georgia Tech is not discouraged by their push mid. They're gonna go for it once more on a save round here, trying to make something happen mid again. Chocolate already pushed up all the way through Art, while the rest of the team does seem to be going Link. Florida Tech is pretty aware, but Mafu does get a huge kill here. Juzi with a flick onto Chocolate, bring things back to a 4v4. Even Chocolate's impressed in the chat with that nice shot. Looks like Juzi has to be careful here. Try not to get caught off guard here, but looks like he catches Mafu off guard. B does get a kill with a classic, and if you didn't tell me, I would think Florida Tech here is on attack, as Georgia Tech's entirely in defender spawn. Juzi's gonna be caught off guard. Juzi's reactions are on point here, up to a triple this round, getting that kill onto Young Fish, falling back, just boxing all these Georgia Tech players into their spawn.
30 seconds left.
And even the Seekers are gonna come through. This eye doesn't spot anyone, but that's really good information. Now Georgia Tech decides to commit towards the A side, and Florida Tech's backing off, playing for that retake, letting the plant go down. Oh, and this trip isn't active though. Now Florida Tech still getting so much place. The Fade sees, doesn't see anyone, but the Prowler is going to manage to see one. Juzi with the ace, cleaning it out.
What a round for Juzi. What a jump for Juzi. Out of this world, getting those flicks, flicks.
Every single time, Juzi should not have won that. Juzi saw the player later. Juzi was the one peeking those angles, and yet somehow, through sheer mechanical skill, able to get those kills and get an ace.
Absolutely. And wow, Florida Tech playing, getting peaked in mid. Georgia Tech manages to get 2 or 3 picks while pushing into mid, and Florida Tech doesn't lose the structure. They managed to win, and they managed to get the kills. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, Florida Tech did a good job adapting to this aggression mid, and now Georgia Tech is respecting that and going for split push. A lot of util being used on the A side, including an attack-sided Killjoy ult here. Trying to push the players back, but the spike is towards B. So so much happening all over this map. Reskop getting a massive kill, getting the spike down, and able to let Reskop pop that ult, getting all this information. Unknowns though, spamming through the wall onto Satanic Monk. Reskop in a tight situation there, and B getting the jump onto him, backside. Now it's a 2v4 in favor of Georgia Tech. Spike is down, and with an op on retake, this is going to be rough. Pot shot goes in towards unknowns. Doesn't manage to catch him. They do hear the footsteps backside still.
Blocking sight.
Does drop. And Sat getting a kill onto B. That's a good start here as they try to make space here. Enrique, good call, getting the kill onto that volley. Another kill. And Enrique and Sat might be able to get this done. 2v1.
Last player standing.
Unknowns does get a kill. And now it's going to come down to Enrique with the kill onto Unknowns. Does he have time to get the defuse? And he does. Enrique, beautiful clutch.
Wow. What a round. What a round. Georgia Tech gaining the early advantage, getting the plant, and then the hero play. The absolute hero play between like
Enrique and Sat working together so well. And that was such an important round. So that was Georgia Tech's full buy. Now they have to go on to a force here. Trying not to get swamped by that economy, and the op is still in Florida Tech's hands.
The op is still in Florida Tech hands, and they don't lose anything almost. They keep the economy, and now Georgia Tech is gonna go for like something more aggressive.
Yeah, Enrique in a really aggressive place here. Does manage to dash out in time, and knows there's a lot of players here. The ult here is also going to be popped. And now B is pushing so far into the site here as Georgia Tech manages to get sight. Enrique might try to get something happening here out of this smoke. B getting a kill, Mafu as well, but Satanic getting a kill onto B. Down to a 4v3. And Reskop narrowing it down. Enrique with the beautiful dead zone here onto Chocolate. This position heaven is huge by Enrique. Drops down. And now it's all about that retake. Kills coming in. Young Fish getting 2. And now it's Enrique versus the world. But both players are low. Decides to use that smoke. And now 1v2 gets a kill. Does see Unknowns, but has so little time to play with. Unknowns playing this beautifully and gets the kill. Bringing Georgia Tech back into this game.
Absolutely, and we see this game being back and forth. Florida Tech getting those late picks, but Georgia Tech getting that explosive momentum into side, and they managed to get early picks. And basically, Georgia Tech manages to get like control of the side, being all this utility from the side of Gecko, the wingman getting the plant, and then Gecko being really oppressive.
Keep up.
Basically, the mosh pit is devastating and like pushes Enrique to go farther, and then like
It looks like they're gonna go for a really aggressive push here after their success onto B. They're going for aggression onto A, but this smoke is gonna just slow them down. The Thrash is gonna go through. Might be able to get a detain here. Does get a detain onto Sat. Ult is gonna be pushed out here by Fade. B getting a kill. And it's an all-out war here onto this site. Couple kills coming in from both sides, but now the numbers are in favor of Georgia Tech as they go into a 4v2. Unknown caught off guard by Satanic though, starting to slow things down. But Enrique with the flank and the knives. Be careful of all this. He does get a kill in the updraft, but now it leaves Satanic alone, trying to clutch things out. Does manage to get the molly off the spike. Probably have to try to get half, but that flash by B is huge and manages to push Satanic off the spike.
And now it's tied. We have a tied map. And now
could go into overtime.
Could go into overtime right now.
And a timeout is called by Georgia Tech. Yeah, both teams are doing a phenomenal job adapting to each other. We saw a huge amount of mid presence towards the beginning of this half where Georgia Tech was getting so much pressure, getting those picks and just able to get a site for free through mid. And Florida Tech's adapted to that, and now Georgia Tech is counter-adapting, deciding to just fully push onto one side at a time.
Absolutely, this game has been back and forth, and now it's in the field of Georgia Tech. Let's remember, Florida Tech has one map already. This is match point for the game, and we see two different Georgia Techs this map and last map. This time Georgia Tech is managing to get those peaks, is managing to get that information, and it's doing wonders. Florida Tech, as you said, it manages to get those small counter oppressions, but at the end of the day, Georgia Tech readapted, as you said, and like it's now like working something different. Like the way they enter into site has been more explosive. They have done like more concise jobs, and then at the end of the day, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm having so much fun watching these teams just learn each other, change, and that's what makes team play so special, is how you're able to see such a dynamic game over the span of all these rounds as players learn and players adapt. And looks like Georgia Tech has decided that they're going to go for the full aggression onto the B site. Enrique getting some information but has to dash out as B is holding backside. Youngfish is going to get the plant with Wingman. Still 5v5. The spike is ticking, and Florida Tech has to make something happen here. Don't have much space elsewhere in the map, but the Cosmic Divide is going to be huge here. Reskop with the first kill. And just sectioning these players off here with the Divide. Double kill by Reskop, but also double kill by Chocolate. Narrowing things out to 2v3. Juzi going to go for the defuse. Reskop with the ace.
Wow, double ace this map.
Wow, second ace, yeah.
Second ace this map. Absolutely out of this world. The play from Florida Tech, they basically play for the retake. They knew that they had the Astra ultimate. They knew that they had all the information that they had, and Reskop doing an amazing job shutting down those players playing in the holes behind the B. Behind B-bomb, and at the end of the day, Reskop gets all those kills and manages to do an amazing job, while like everybody using utility, getting all that information, and basically helping Reskop doing what he's doing.
Yeah, like you said, that Cosmic Divide was huge, sectioning off the players, letting Reskop wreak havoc backside without any sort of reinforcement. And looks like Florida Tech gonna get aggressive here on their last round, match point.
Wow, my eyes are dull.
And this could be the last map if Florida Tech manages to close it out. Georgia Tech needs to keep this to stay in the game. Looks like 3 players already pushed up here towards mid by Florida Tech. Gonna use those Seekers. Cosmic Divide going through by Georgia Tech, and even Thrash as they push out onto the site. It's gonna be an all-out brawl here as Georgia Tech pushes and gets the spike down. Florida Tech might decide to just go for a retake here as they have all their positions ready to go. B getting first blood here in the round. A lot of blinds coming in. A huge dizzy here by Youngfish. Does get caught off guard by Satanic though, narrowing things down to a 4v4. These plants going through. Sat and Reskop each getting kills. And now it's up to B. Alone gets out of his dimensional drift, but his position is known here. Does get a kill, and Satanic gets the trade, closing things out 11-13 for Florida Tech.
What a map! What a map! I wouldn't have been surprised if that Euro got all those kills and then got in the overtime. He's done it before. He did it before when we saw those 4v2s that Georgia Tech managed to win, and at the end of the day, Florida Tech gets the match with like. So
wow,
close.
That could have gone.
Close. That could have.
Either way, we saw a completely different Georgia Tech moving into that second map. And yeah, we saw so much adaptation, so much individual skill, and so great games by both players. But Florida Tech walks away with the win.
Well, looks like a GG to both teams. Well, you can catch us again.
We're not sure, actually. You can catch us again probably later this week or maybe next week as Florida Tech continues in their NECC playoffs. So hope to see you guys there.
Hope to see the run is up. The run is up, and we're going farther in every time.
GG's everyone. Have a good night.
Everyone.